Hey guys, this is Soren Productions, aka Nana4673, and I am back with Autumn's Journey. And hello people, welcome back. This game was suggested to me, and yeah, I thought, why not play it? It seems like a really nice and sweet game. And I know I'm having a lot of projects for the time being. I have Cinders and I have the Reset series, and I will get back to those. But this is a, I think, rather short game, not that long, and it seems like a real feel-good game, so I'll try it. Let's just go. Chapter 1, End of Summer. Well, that sucks. I love summer. I love spring more though. Anyway, sunlight filtered through the airy forest as the lush ferns grazed my boots. I momentarily shielded my eyes before I turned north, treading carefully. Treading. The murky atmosphere that had hung over the past few months was now being replaced by the subtle crispness of fall. Though the trees were still vibrantly green, apple picking season was fast approaching for the town of Barry. I just cheerfully stretched one arm towards the sky, inhaling deeply. And thus, my weekly scouting for monsters, bandits, and anything out of the ordinary that may harm local citizens is over. And that concludes my mission. I laughed, wondering why I was announcing my agenda to no one. I guess I just always wanted to say that out loud. Walking around alone does prompt you into monologuing just so you can hear a voice. I just wish I wasn't restricted to freelance work in Barry, though. How long is my training going to last? I'm more than ready for knighthood. I can do this. I adjusted the belt holding my sword, making sure the hilt could be pulled out of a moment's notice. Humming, I decided to meander back to the village by following the river down the gentle slope. I loved the terrain here. Not super rocky, but not entirely flat either. There was always an inclination, and higher up I can get a breathtaking panorama of Barry and its endless orchards. Words! Especially in autumn, when the leaves were so vibrantly red that the entire forest seemed to ignite, and the smell of crisp frost and thick fallen foliage lingered welcomely. I must say that's a freaking lot of words. It was then I spotted something entirely out of the ordinary near the riverbank, leaning against a birch tree, whatever. Thin birch, black. I'm gonna call them black because I can't pronounce. I know what trees they are. I can't pronounce it though. The thin black trees were not exactly known to be comfortable resting spots, and I did not recognize the stranger's attire. Hello, are you a traveler? His face came into view, and I realized he was sleeping, but that's not what caught me off guard. He had beautiful protrusions, resembling shale scars just cutting out of his long hair, right where someone's ear should be. Or was it a decoration covering his ears? I suddenly wanted to touch them, but I resisted. If he woke up in an untimely manner, it would be awkward to explain. Yes, surely. At first I was about to leave when I noticed something else rather odd. From a simple glance, I saw no no positions or anything else on him. This place was too far away from civilization for a simple afternoon stroll. Was he marked? And had he been in Barry previously? I would have known. It was that small of a town. Curiosity won me over. Hello? A flicker of concern passed over my face. I grabbed his shoulder and gave it a gentle shake, finding his lack of response unnerving. I quickly hovered a hand in front of his nose. Sure enough, he was breathing, and I did not see any injuries that would suggest he was knocked unconscious. After some more feeble attempts to wake him up, I decided to improvise a camp. I did not want to leave him unattended, and I knew I couldn't drag his body very far. Tossing my bag down, I went to work. What a nice person I am. The fire crackled merrily on the blackwood as I opened my cloth which contained a lunch of rye bread and hot cheese. These were the emergency rations lest I was unable to return to Barry. Mother and father were probably worried. Oh, shit. Yeah. Setting my food down, I cautiously shuffled over. I had previously placed his body in a supine position and used my bags as a substitute pillow, though it was probably more lumpy than anything else. It was better than nothing. Are you awake now? You've been out all afternoon. I was getting worried. I trailed off before I started rambling and watched him curiously as he opened his eyes. In a split second he shut up and clumsily fell back. I caught his arm to steady him. Oh, take it easy, you just got up. He flinched from my skin contact, and I hastily let go, retreating slightly. I didn't get any sense of hostility, but he certainly seemed bewildered. Who are you? There was an uneasy edge in his voice, but not one of panic, more of anger. Then that was when I noticed that his eyes were a brilliant amethyst hue, contrasting with his earthy hair tones. Better to remain calm. Oh, really? I found you in the woods outside of Barry. The surprise did not leave his eyes. They darted quickly to his hands, which then covered his face. Lastly, he ran his fingers through his brown hair. The horror on his face was so unsettling that I dumbly sat there for several seconds before mustering the courage to address him again. Are you all right? Obviously not, but I wanted a better grasp of the situation. He attempted to sit up again, but this time I was prepared. Again he was repelled by my touch, and I gave up the desire to help him that way. He still appeared unstable, but ceased his sudden movements at last. He actually did it. Hell! Oh shit. He wobbled as he tried to stand, and I impatiently rushed to his side. Stop it. You obviously can't move in your condition, so you might as well sit down and clear your head. What's going on? Who are you, and what are you doing here? He looked at me as if he was registering me for the first time since asking who I was. Everything about him screamed overwhelmed as he simply grit his teeth in frustration. Ask if he's hungry. Hey, are you hungry? Well, yeah, sure, why not? I decided to find another angle to help him open up. I did not consider myself intimidating, but it was possible he had no desire to answer anything. Are you hungry? I softened my voice and returned to my spot by the fire. Fire. I grabbed the cloth and generally offered him the rye bread and cheese. He only arched an eyebrow in disgust. What is that? Oh, he didn't like that. What? That? It's food. You chew it. I ripped a piece of the dark bread and demonstrated humming delightfully to show that it was edible. He scoffed and averted his eyes. I don't want it. It looks revolting. Sorry, my peasant food does not please my lord's tastes. His attitude was rubbing off on me. Calm down. If anything, he's hiding that he's scared. Did he just wake up in a foreign place? Are you nobility? He fell silent, and the only occasional crackle of the fire and the hooting of owls interrupted the stillness. I leaned back and ruminated over my meal, careful to leave some food untouched in case he changed his mind. And there was that apple tart, too. I'll save it for later. I wrapped up the cloth, only vaguely aware that the stranger was examining my every movement. It nettled me slightly, but I decided not to comment. I did not want to do anything that would cause him to raise his guard even more. It was now dark, and I occasionally fed the fire, getting the feeling I was going to be spending the night. After what seemed like an eternity, he finally spoke up. Who are you again? Aurelie. I'm from the town of Barry, and you? Care. He wretchedly uttered the name, gazing into the fire. He seemed much calmer now. And how did you get here? His lips curled, almost smoking knowingly. You probably wouldn't believe it if I told you. You have unusual eyes and a strange fashion accessory over your ears. I think I can find your story credible. He flexed his hands, squinting his fingers carefully. I didn't come here willingly. Out of all places, I don't see why he decided to drop me in this low-born, simplistic care. He glared at me as if I offered that I had addressed him. Offended that I had addressed him directly. So, where are you from? I'm not particularly tied to any region. It's not obvious already. If it's not obvious already, I'm not one of you. He tapped his knee particularly. I'm one of the dragons, an earth dragon. He stated, full of pride with no ounce of humility. Obviously, I inspected him from head to toe, taking note of the stone, just like of the stone like its ears and his remarkable eyes. He balked under my stare, but quickly regained his dignity. His eyebrows furrowed fiercely. So, why would an earth dragon be here? It's not because I wanted to. He blurted it out angrily, then touched his unique ears for comfort. I sighed, then tilted my head from side to side as I absorbed his explanation. Alright, I'll admit I'm not accepting this feasible, but I'm not dismissing it either. The conscience formed back. If I could, do you think I would remain in this pathetic body, so weak? I instinctively patted my sword hilt to counter that remark, but stopped when I saw him attempt to stand again. It was like watching a toddler take his or her first steps, but instead of cutely coaxing, I was feebly discouraging his efforts. We've already established that you're unfamiliar with your form, besides it's too dark to walk around aimlessly. I'll find a walking stick for you and we can return to Berry if you'd like. I feel wrong if I abandon you in this state. Are you saying I can't handle myself? I'm pointing it out. Realizing we were both escalating our voices, I looked away in a huff, not wanting to have our encounter to turn sour so rapidly. An altar. We need to find an altar. You having kind worship us, right? Well, yeah, I mean, the dragon kind were here first, so it's only natural we pay our respects. I barely knew anything about the dragon kind, though they focused on their own affairs. You will take me there. It was a plain statement, not a suggestion, not a plea. Why an altar? They're all heaven-kind made. How would it help you? He parried my questioning. Without words. It doesn't matter. Do you know where one is? Yes, there's one not far from here. There's a cave that leads to it. Relief washed over his face, and for once his scowl vanished. Good. We should go there this instant. He stared last, tried to stand up again, but I lunged forward and firmly sat him back down. He gasped at me in disbelief, but my will was as stubborn as his. Morning. We will do this in the morning. Get some sleep and I'll find an ideal walking stick. I don't think you'll master something without some assistance, especially not in a day, and it'll be difficult if I have to physically support you the whole way there. So just take it easy tonight. I'll even keep watch while you sleep. After my entreatment, he fell silent and gave a petulant nod, closing his eyes wearily. I sighed gratefully, feeling moderately triumphant over the battle of pig-headedness. As Care was grumbling, I leaned over and pulled out a small blanket off my back. The temperature was still pleasant, even at night, but it could cool rapidly, especially since it was the end of summer. After returning some items to my bag, I reshaped it so it was a passable pillow again and offered it to Kay, who seemed puzzled by its purpose. Believe me, you'll need something comfortable or you'll have trouble sleeping. Worse, you'll wake up with a sore back, and getting to the altar will be even more troublesome. You already stepped on it once. I think you can figure out how to support your head with it again. I laughed sheepishly at my own stab at lightening the mood, but I could tell it wasn't working for Care. Alright, I have to end the episode here. Bye.